This is Timeform Radio.
Frankel utilises that turn of foot to devastating effect. What a brilliant course!
Zenyatta, what a performance, one we'll never forget. Looked impossible.
He's giving the Queenslanders everything they want. Black Caviar!
Formidable Zarkava qui va s'imposer dans un arc de triomphe exceptionnel.
Rocket Man in front, and he's done it this year. Rocket Man wins the Golden Shaheen.
Hello, I'm Alan Dudman, and this is Timeform Radio's Global Racing Podcast. Coming up this week, Graham Cunningham, as always, with a chance to reflect on the weekend's action and a huge shock in Paris. We'll be reviewing the best of the weekend's fare from Belmont and the latest news on the Breeders' Cup. There was a sensational performance on Saturday. Gio Ponti's trainer Christophe Clement joins us to discuss his star 6-year-old. He goes in the Shadwell Turf Mile at Keeneland. He won it in 2010, and it's one of 6 win-and-you're-in Breeders' Cup races. And we'll be looking at the best of the North American action coming up over the Friday and the Saturday. Really is an action-packed weekend, and it will be live here on Timeform Radio, as well as all of the latest news from Australia. And we'll be talking to Gary Crisp with his take on the upcoming Caulfield Guineas. Let's find out what's been happening both on and off the racecourse around the world. Here are the racing headlines. In France, German filly Daydream shocked European racing to win the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe in Paris on Sunday, returning 27-1 on the Paris Mutuelle. The trend for 3-year-old winners, it was the 16th time in 21 years the race has been won by a member of the classic generation, brought calls from some quarters for changes to the weight for age system. On to America, New York. Uncle Mo is back. He quickened twice to see off a stern challenge from Jackson's Bend in Belmont's Kelso Handicap on Saturday. He earned himself a Timeform rating of 129 and is now the highest rated horse in North America. Not to be outdone, star filly Havre de Grace trounced a 5-runner field including Royal Delta in the Beldame Invitational. In doing so, she earned an automatic berth in the Breeders' Cup Ladies Classic at Churchill Downs. Connections have, however, made it clear that the $5 million Breeders' Cup Classic is her goal. And Kate Blanco battled home in the Joe Hirsch Handicap despite an injury suffered during the race. The 4-year-old's stud plans have yet to be finalised. Aidan O'Brien said he is an extremely talented and courageous horse with a tremendous attitude to his racing, so we'll all be very sad to see him leave Ballydoyle. The fact that he never once changed leads in the home straight in spite of his injury just goes to prove what a brave horse he is. And to round off a cracking week of racing on the East Coast, Awesome Feather, winner of the 2010 Grey Goose Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, returned to the races with a victory in the $60,000 Le Slough Stakes on October the 5th at Belmont Park. And finally, news from England. Tattersalls' October yearling sale got off to a flying start with increases of 21.6% in gross revenue, 48% in average price and 51.5% in median price from a year ago. The prize buy from the opening session was a Galileo filly, fetching 800,000 guineas. Australian Paul Macon, in the name of Badger's Bloodstock, bought the Bay yearling, fighting off Coolmore stud managing partner John Magner. So those are the news headlines from around the globe this week, and once again we have Graham Cunningham with us to reflect on a sensational week. And Graham, you are our resident globetrotter. You were at Longchamp at the weekend for the couple of days. When I watched it on the TV, I sensed shock, silence. What was it like there, Graham?
Dirty job, but someone has to do it, Al. Hello everyone. Fantastic weekend in Paris. Unbelievable weather, 27, 28 degrees, 7 Group 1s on the Saturday, and capped by that immense performance from Daydream. Yes, there were potential excuses for a few horses drawn high. Snow Fairy, So You Think, Sarafina. But this is a filly who was improving fast coming into the race. We've mentioned it once or twice. She wasn't too far behind the top-rated horses on Timeform. Massive price, massive performance, because she just bounded clear. She won by 5. She won in the fastest time ever recorded for an arc, and the only horses prior to Daydream to win an arc by 5 or 6 lengths were Rebo, Seabird, Saki and Pontra Celeb. That is a very, very illustrious group. Timeform have rated Dane Dream 132. She looks worth every pound of that performance. And yes, there were excuses for the two beaten horses, but it was a striking performance and an amazing story for Germany to reach the top table at Group 1 level on the world stage now with this filly. Another interesting news line here. All in all, superb weekend, and that wasn't the only top quality performance of the weekend.
It was a 1-2-3 for the fillies, and fair and best of the UK Raiders was Snow Ferry, but there were some big disappointments in behind, weren't there, Graham?
There were. Serafina was deliberately kept wide. But as with So You Think, drawn in the double digits, they were both left with plenty to do. And I couldn't understand the tactics on So You Think in particular. A horse who'd been very, very comfortable, racing aggressively, exuberantly, just off the speed, over 1.25 miles. But the warning signs were there. Aidan O'Brien had said that he thought the horse might have 1 or 2 problems over 1.5 miles. Well, I'm sure he stays the trip, but he'll always have problems, set so much to do, on fast ground, drawn out wide. So it wasn't to be for So You Think. He'll get another chance to show what he can do in the Champion Stakes at Ascot in a couple of weeks. But for Dane Dream, the question is now whether it's America for the Breeders' Cup turf, the filly and mare turf, or to Japan for the Japan Cup. She has some very, very lucrative and attractive options now, but she has been supplemented for the Breeders' Cup, and whichever of those 3 big races she goes for, she is a major, major player. Her performance at the weekend, Alan, taught me several things. 1, don't assume that the traditional superpowers will hold a whip hand. Don't assume that a horse has to have softish ground just because that's what she's shown her best on before. And most of all, don't ever underestimate this top-class filly wherever she turns up over 1.5 miles or even 1.25 miles.
Her trainer is Peter Shergan, and he was speaking to Chris Barnett at Longchamp on Sunday.
Congratulations, you've trained the winner of the Arc. How are you feeling, apart from very warm and really excited to be in this press conference, I would imagine?
Yeah, I'm very, very happy. I don't believe it. She's so easy winner. I must look at the tape now. I see 1 time the race, and it is the greatest feeling now.
She's won by 5 lengths, which is a really big distance. She's won by 5 lengths many times, but the Arc de Triomphe by 5 lengths, she really is a dream, isn't she?
This is a dream, yes, please.
And when did you know that you had a good filly? When did that come to you? When did you think this could be a really good horse?
She was a 2-year nice filly, but she was 3 years old. She was from race to race better, and I think she was easy winner in the Italian Oaks, and this time she's a Group 1 horse.
And a lot of people, myself included, when we saw the race in Baden-Baden, we thought the ground was very soft, they were kicking up a lot of turf, that she would come here to Paris and find it difficult on this firmer ground. But were you ever worried about that?
Yeah, she win in Italy of good ground, she win of soft ground, she have no problems, she can every ground.
And it's nice to see some Hoppergarten form coming here to the Arc, and a lovely track in Berlin. Not many winners come from Hoppergarten to win the Arc.
This is perfect, this is good for German racing.
And what will it be? What will this do for German racing? You're a jockey who've won many, many races, now a successful trainer. What will the win today? It's the second time a German horse has won. What will this do to the sire Lomitas and to the German racing altogether?
I think this is good for the German breeding, and we have good horses in German, and so we can be good enough for big races in France or England. Also, we make a lot of travel with Dane Dream now.
Well done today, many congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And many would be familiar around the world with the influence of German sires, a real stout influence for stamina, but Dane Dream with a potent turn of foot displayed at Longchamp at the weekend. Just a final point on her, Graham, and I know Chris asked the trainer there in the interview, what impact do you think that will have on German racing?
I think it has potentially a huge spin-off effect for German racing, and that people will want to invest in trainers who are coming through. They know the bloodlines are strong, they know they're very competitive, tending to be when the ground's soft, but this was fast ground and a very, very fast filly. So it's a breakthrough performance in more ways than one, certainly for Dane Dream herself,